Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to another episode of 5 Minutes with Sean, maybe 10. Today's topic is going to be all about driving sales, and it's kind of our first two-part show, if you will. We're going to do today's episode, which will be before the show, and then afterwards, we're going to do one that's very, very cleverly titled After the Show. And we're going to try to do these all the time when we go to these events and really start to engage. This one's a little bit more special for us. It's really where we started back in 2013. Jared decided to start a little area called, what was it called at that time? Startup Alley. And so at Startup Alley, it was all about, younger companies trying to get their way into the business, into the industry. We still had to pay a little bit of money, but not nearly as much as those guys with the big areas did. And it gave us a little bit of, for our company, it taught us a lot about who we were going to be versus who we were that day. And that day we were a company trying to be someone for everyone. And when we left that show, we ended up being very niche and very specific in what we do now is what we call vendor management. So, in getting ready for these shows, I think there's a couple things that you want to think about. Number one, I think you should really have a plan, right? There's a lot of breakout sessions. There's obviously a lot of vendors in the hall, a lot of people to look at. So have a plan and make sure that it fits what you're after. So if you're trying to figure out how to sell to millennials, there's plenty of topics for you to get involved there. One is our guy at Reunion Marketing, CEO Dave. Dave's on the line here, right? He knows what's going on. He's got a team of young people, a lot of millennials on his team. So he's a good guy to listen to in that topic. So if you're looking for, how to sell to them, there's plenty of people to talk with. If you're looking for SEM strategies, again, plenty of topics around those. Some may be conflicting. If you've heard people speak before, my suggestion is to go out and listen to other people because this way you get a very well-rounded approach to what's happening. And for us, I know that one of the bigger things that I'm looking forward to doing, because I'm also trying to formulate my plan, is keynotes like David R. Bell, who's going to be talking about basically how physical location really impacts digital business and how companies like Amazon are trying to open up physical locations to compete in the retail world. And so I find that interesting because our industry is really trying to go away from it into digital retailing, which, by the way, there are plenty of digital retailing people to speak with, opportunities to look at, breakout sessions to listen to while there. That's kind of the overarching theme for these events is kind of, what's important now. So to me, it would appear that millennials are important for whatever reason. I wish we would just look to sell consumers cars and not really worry about how to sell directly to a market of people who aren't necessarily in market right now. Data is starting to show that as they get older, they're starting to buy more cars, be more engaged. I wish we would just talk about how to sell people cars because I see this and I go to myself, look, it's not just millennials, it's people in general, right? You've got to be able to walk through it. But Kristen Hadid is going to be talking about the millennials are coming. This is what we're talking about. This is a keynote, which is very important. The future of search. Michael King will be talking about that on Monday the 23rd from 1 to 1:40. Again, about search. And I'll give you the last keynote and kind of how these keynotes come across, right? How the growth mindset transforms leadership. And to me, leadership is speaking a lot to culture. And culture is an overused word right now in our industry. We all want to figure out ways to get it, but we really don't want to put in the hard work to do it. That's a reality. Say what you want about it. There's plenty of ways to do it. Stop turning over salespeople when you've had the same managers for a decade. Start looking around at the real problem. I get it's not easy to look ourselves in the mirror, but this is a topic where we may want to do that. So those are the keynotes. Those are the big ones. You also have Be the Exception, which is Jay Acunzo, I believe. I'm not positive, but he's got a great podcast. Someone that I've tried to listen to and get some ideas from. Very, very smart guy, and according to some people, a must-see speaker. So that's something that'll be on Tuesday from 11:30 to noon, which will be right after the final breakout sessions there that we are fortunate enough to be a part of, which is a lot of fun. You look at some other breakout speakers. You've got guys all over the place. One of them is Bill Whitmire at eLead, still talking about the phones, guys. And I love him. Jennifer Suzuki, another one that's great on the phone training stuff. he's co-presenting with a dealer, which I find interesting because, the phone skill thing, it's crazy to me that this is still an issue. It's still a thing. But it is, and we still are poor on the phones. And so it goes back to something that I talked about in a past episode, which was basically, hey, look around at how many opportunities you have. Do you have an opportunity problem or a selling problem? The phone is a place not a lot of people look at. So that's an interesting one. You also have more attribution discussion. Brian Harwood at Outsell is co-presenting with yet another dealer, which again I find extremely interesting. Talking about marketing insights and attributions. Are your metrics in alignment? My guess is most of you should probably attend that because they're probably not. We've got more millennial speak going on here. We've got cluttered websites with Dealer Socket. We've got mobile as the new personal assistant, how it has changed phone call handling. Again, Call Review, good company, good company. But this is where it's still talking about handling the phones. We've got more attribution from some folks at cars.com. That's important. Me personally, I'm going to try to sit in on one fixed ops meeting because I don't have the strength in fixed ops. So myself, I want to learn about that. But overall for you guys, and that's kind of going to be the nuts and bolts of it all, right? You've got Sean Rains and Greg Gifford doing a deal. Those guys are always fun to see. You've got Dave, our guy at Reunion Marketing. He's got breakouts on Monday. Chief Marketing Officer at Roadster, online marketing. Have a look at that. The last thing I would tell you, the last one you need to make sure you attend, obviously, is the Tuesday sessions, and Tuesday's breakouts will be with myself. And that's what we're looking forward to doing. We're looking forward to presenting at this opportunity. But between Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, there are plenty of opportunities. So make sure you plan your breakouts accordingly. Do your best to avoid shiny objects. They will be everywhere. It was funny. Yesterday, I had a call from a client of mine who sent his internet manager out to Digital Dealer. And came back, and the kids, the boss said, hey, what'd you learn? He said, well, what I learned is we got to spend more money on more vendors. And the dealer, I won't use the language he used, but he got very upset, and he said, look, man, we need to sell cars. Vendors are not going to change our lives. We need to change our own lives. They can help, but they aren't going to be the difference makers. And to that, I agree. I think that you need to make sure that everything in your own house is tight, cleaned up, ready to rock and roll. If you need more leads, if you need more gadgets and widgets to get involved, then look at that later on. Think about being very lean in the beginning and building up to these sort of things. So avoid the shiny objects that will be definitely in your face. And lastly, for me, really on this topic of going to the show, is when you go, talk with everyone you can. Get in front of as many people as you can. And for me, if you see me, and you won't miss me, me and my business partner Jeff always wear Car Biz shirts. Our logo is everywhere at these shows. Look for us, man. Talk to us. Talk to anyone you see at any of the events. You've got some Top Golf events that first day. There's issues and there's things going on around the show, not only at the show. So engage with everyone you can, network across the board, and learn all that you can. These events, this is one of the best events in my opinion. And as I said, it's important to us because this is the first time we've returned since 2013. We're looking forward to seeing a lot of people we haven't seen in a while and really, really, really continue to move the conversation forward about being able to manage your vendors and work with everything in front of you because technology is truly getting in the way of the basics, and we have to look at making sure our basics are covered. So go out, have a great time at the show. If you're there, please stop by and say hi. Don't forget the Monday we're out there, we'll be releasing an episode called Vendor Pitches. You should definitely have a listen to Vendor Pitches. It's going to be very cool, especially if you're at the show or even if you're not, leading up to any other time you talk to a vendor. I think you'll really enjoy that episode. So guys, thank you so much for listening today. As always, remember, you will not find us on the social media, but you will find me at 262-278-0157 is the number. My email, sean@carbizdonebetter.com. I look forward to hearing from all of you. If you're at the show, have a great time. If you're not, have a wonderful month. Thanks.